Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Welcome back to Superhuman Radio. We have a great show planned. We're going to be joined by two wonderful scientists, Dr. Wenpeng Yu and Dr. Maciej Henneberg, who are going to be up at 12:30 a.m. midnight in Australia to do this interview. So I really want to thank them for that. To talk about a recent study that's really making a lot of news associating global obesity with meat consumption. Before we get started, I have to thank my title sponsor, and that's Legendary Foods, makers of the Tasty Pastry. The Tasty Pastry started out as a solution to the Pop-Tart, but it's become so much more because you'll think you're really eating cake when you eat the Tasty Pastry. The flavors are amazing, 20 grams of high-quality protein, less than 1 gram of sugar, and for those of us who observe our carbohydrate intake, 4 to 5 net carbs. So it'll keep you in your lane if you're a low carb or keto person. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary. Use the code SHR10 today and save 10% off, and let them know that you heard about them here on Superhuman Radio. Back in the 70s, fat was evil. It was causing obesity. More recently, sugar is evil. It's the reason for obesity. I have two scientists on with us who are wonderful enough to join us all the way from Australia, where it is in the middle of the night. It's about 1 a.m. in the morning there. And that is Dr. Wenpeng Yu and Dr. And I'm going to try to pronounce your first name properly, Dr. Henneberg, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Maciej Henneberg?
No, it's Maciej.
Hello,
Maciej.
My name is Wenpeng, but and the surname of the professor will be Maciej.
Maciej. Okay, Maciej. Maciej. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm just going to say Dr. Henneberg. How about that? That'll make it easier. Okay. So this is a very controversial study. And the reason is because we just finally made peace with the idea that it's sugar that's causing obesity, and then you two guys upset the apple cart and say, no, it's meat. What questions were you trying to answer with this research? What led you to this point that you felt compelled that you had to do this research? Whoever wants to answer that, jump in.
Hello?
Can you not hear me?
Yes.
Can you see that again? Hello?
In.
Okay, let's do this. I will direct the question, okay? So to Dr. Henneberg, why did you feel compelled that you had to do this study? What questions were you trying to answer?
Well, we were trying to see whether the food that sustained human life for the last at least 2 million years, which is mostly animal protein, before the advent of agriculture, whether this particular type of nutrients is also contributing to obesity. And the reason we were doing it is that we found differences between human individuals. A lot of young males studied in Switzerland. We found differences between young males depending on the level of enzyme that helps to digest amino acids, which are components of protein, and body mass index. So very simply, a large group of Swiss conscripts, about 50,000 of them, were examined, underwent medical examination while being admitted into the army, into the armed forces, and alanine transaminase levels, one of the enzymes that is involved in digesting amino acids, levels of this enzyme correlated with their body mass index. So it sparked our attention to see how meat is metabolized. And while doing this, we found out in a big study already published of American Seventh-day Adventists, about 100,000 people, that vegans have lower body mass index than vegetarians, and vegetarians have lower body mass index than people who eat everything, including meat. So
wait a minute. Wait, Dr. Henneberg, hold on a second. Using body mass index as a barometer for weight is a mistake, because you have two people. One is 10% body fat. One is 35% body fat. They're both 200 pounds. You have very, very different people. So you could look at a vegan who, as a rule, have very, very low lean body masses, and as a result, you say, oh, well, this person is healthier because their weight is less. That seems to be a mistake to me. A person who's more muscular would, and we know this, science is showing more muscular, stronger people, they live longer and they seem to avoid disease at a better rate too. So wouldn't body mass index kind of be the wrong way? Shouldn't DEXA scan have been used?
Well, you are right that body mass index is not a very good indicator of fatness as such, but sadly, most large data samples simply have only body mass index.
Yeah, I got you.
As the indicator. So we realize that body mass index is not the best indicator. However, in a study of 1,300 adult Australian females, we found a reasonably good correlation between fatness measured directly as skin fold thickness and body mass index. So body mass index and fatness explain about 40% of variation in each other. So they are correlated. They are not ideally correlated, but there is a reasonable and statistically significant correlation.
Dr. Henneberg just pointed out the presence of this enzyme that is related to breaking down amino acids. And I was just thinking of polymorphisms like lactase persistence. So are there some people in populations that seem to be more capable of breaking down animal protein? Is there kind of an enzymatic persistence in some portion of the population that's not present in the other?
It could be. This could be right. But the thing is, the percentage of this population would be very, very minor. So in data analysis, so this means we could ignore this particular population.
Okay, so gentlemen, I think it's very obvious to anybody who's paying attention to all of this that the reason we have obesity today is not because people are eating too much sugar, too much fat, or too much beef, but they're eating too much food in general. They're in a constant caloric surplus. They are not active, and hence obesity occurs. Isn't it? I mean, I've said all along that sugar is not the culprit, because if you eat 1,000 calories a day of only sugar, but you burn 2,500 calories a day, you're not going to get fat. So isn't this really just saying, isn't your study the last piece of the puzzle that says, look, everything, if you eat it in excess, is going to make you fat. The goal is to eat less, or at least at your caloric requirement for your metabolic rate.
Well, yes, you are generally right that the caloric balance is an obvious cause of obesity if there is a big caloric surplus. What we are trying to do is to show that the order in which foods are eaten and consumption of specific types of food may add to the problem. As I said, when we stabilize caloric intakes, in other words, we equalize caloric intake of 174 nations in the world, the levels of prevalence of obesity still show relationship to eating both sugar and meat, and equally. And in this situation, when we remove differences in caloric excess, there is still about 13% of variance in obesity prevalence that is explained by eating meat or eating sugar. And the reason is that what we put into our mouth, the food that we put into our mouth, is not exactly the calories a body obtains from that food. because food obviously has to be digested in our digestive tract, and our digestive tract is also full of various bacteria and other microbiota that interfere with processing of what is in the food. For example, soluble fibers are fermented in our gut by bacteria belonging to the group of firmicutes, and therefore they produce in our gut short-chain fatty acids. And we actually absorb short-chain fatty acids that were a product of fermentation of soluble fibers we have eaten. So we are eating fatty acids instead of fibers in terms of what goes into the metabolic machinery of our body. And that means that various kinds of food consumed give us various caloric gain because of the way they are processed in our digestive system and eventually absorbed into the body.
Okay, so, but you realize that your research flies in the face of actual clinical trial outcomes, where people were fed high protein, low carbohydrate, low fat diets and did not get fat because the protein was shown to have a thermogenic effect, that the ability to break down protein leverages thermogenesis and actually causes some of these biological changes that you're pointing to that are actually beneficial for weight loss.
They may be beneficial in particular food composition, and let's not get started on the diet-induced thermogenesis, because that's another big area of research, and we are participating in it. But that would take us too far away from results of our statistical analysis.
Okay.
What we are saying is that in a group, in the sample of practically all countries of the world, who obviously have people eating various levels of carbohydrates, fats, and protein, those countries that have greater meat consumption have greater prevalence of obesity. So it's not eating meat as such that contributes to obesity, and this would take us into clinical trials and animal experiments and so on, but it's simply adding meat to the general diet that people consume in various countries.
What is being, Dr. Yu, what is being considered as meat? Are you talking about things like luncheon meats and cold cuts and sausages? When people are self-reporting this kind of stuff, I can't believe that they're talking about, pieces of steak and pieces of chicken and pieces of lean cuts of meat. You're also including in this the junk meat that we know is bad for us, right?
Yeah, the meat is so except from the fish, so all the meat included.
Right.
So previously the studies only include red meat or white meat. But obviously the diet can, the daily diet of our life, so we can include all the meat, not only the red meat or white meat.
Right.
So we include all the meat.
So isn't that a weakness in this particular study? We know that if people eat sausages and hot dogs and consider that meat, that these types of, I don't even want to call them meat, these types of foods have biological effects that lead to obesity and chronic inflammation. So how do we, is it fair to put that meat in the same category as a New York strip steak?
Not really. For example, sausages contains the wheat or some other starch.
Yes. We're going to take one commercial break. We'll be right back with more.
Most people have heard of phytoestrogens, but did you know there are beneficial phytoandrogens? The top source of these is pine pollen. It even contains trace amounts of testosterone and DHEA. If you're looking for a 100% natural testosterone booster, this is worth trying. Lots of men love it, and it even works for women. Lost Empire Herbs offers the highest quality, wild-harvested, non-irradiated pine pollen backed by a 365-day money-back guarantee. It works for you, or you don't have to pay for it with nothing to send back. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Lost Empire. Use code SHR. Get 15% off your order today. If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know that I have struggled to give up coffee for years. Coffee has destroyed my gut and it's impaired my health. Well, I haven't had coffee in months thanks to a product called Magic Mind. Magic Mind is the first nootropic blend I actually feel working. One shot and I'm good all day long. My memory is crystal clear and I'm able to function and have great focus without coffee or caffeine for that matter. If you want to try a product that really works, if you're like me and you want to give up coffee forever, or you just need something occasionally that will help you lift the brain fog, Magic Mind is your product. I promise you that this product you will feel when you use it. Go to shrnetwork.biz/magicmind, all one word, and use the code SHR for a whopping 20% off your first order. C60, also known as Buckminster fullerene, is the most powerful, most versatile antioxidant in the world. It's been shown in studies to double the lifespan of rodents. We all know the importance of taking antioxidants to slow aging, reduce inflammation, and improve mitochondrial function and energy production. But there are literally hundreds of antioxidants that would cost you thousands of dollars to take every day. I take one. I take C60 from C360 Health. Revive and Rejuvenate are two blends that harness the power of C60. Don't waste another minute. Go to shrnetwork.biz/revive and use the code SHR for 15% off and free shipping inside the United States today.
Dogs should be powered by fat and protein, not carbs. That's why Visionary Pet makes low-carb, ketogenic dog food for dogs of all breeds and life stages. From kibble to freeze-dried and even low-carb treats, all Visionary Pet recipes are very low-carb, ketogenic, and made with 100% real meat protein. Shop now and use code SHR for 20% off your first order today. Your dog deserves the lifelong benefits of optimal nutrition. Make the switch to Visionary and see why smart dogs eat low carb.
Are you 35 or older? Every year after puberty, your growth hormone decreases sometimes by 50% by the age of 35, and it only keeps going down from there. This affects everything from making it harder to recover from workouts, sleep, and a general loss of a sense of well-being. It also affects your ability to get and stay lean. BioPro Plus is the first of its kind, 100% non-synthetic alternative to prescription synthetic growth hormone treatments. All the benefits without any of the needles or side effects, and 100% safe. Previously only available through doctors, you can go to shrnetwork.biz/biopro, that's BIOPRO, and use code SHR30 for $30 off today. You may be wondering why you're experiencing performance issues in the bedroom, but you're not alone. Over 30 million men experience a form of erectile dysfunction, and to many, it can feel defeating. Maybe you've tried pills, diets, exercise, but finally there's a proven solution. Meet Eddie, a discreet device designed to help men strengthen and maintain their erections. Pills can be costly and result in debilitating side effects, so I checked out Eddie by Giddy at shrnetwork.biz/Eddie and found out that over 95% of men experience positive results wearing Eddie, according to a 2021 clinical trial. This product simply works and is easy to use. Sign up for a subscription at shrnetwork.biz/Eddie and save $20 on your first device with promo code SUPER20. With free device resizes and 60-day guarantee, you'll be glad you tried it. Treat ED with Eddie at shrnetwork.biz/Eddie.
Talking with Dr. Wenpeng Yu and Dr. Maciej Henneberg. We're talking about the relationship between meat and obesity. So, Dr. Yu, right now there is a movement afoot here in the United States that everybody should be eating vegan, that meat is unsustainable, which is not true. There's so much good research from great universities that show that's not true. But nonetheless, meat has become very evil. But that's not what you guys are saying, is it? What you're saying is different. How, the mainstream media is going to take your study and they're going to say, see, we should be vegans. Meat is making people fat. But tell people really what you want them to know, what you're really saying with this study in your own words.
Yeah, so firstly, not everybody who can be vegans. So obviously meat can provide necessary amino acids which cannot get from plant protein. So but few people can get. That's true. But we say meat contribute to obesity, but we only suggest that people minimize meat intake, not avoid meat intake, because everybody knows that meat can provide the necessary amino acids which cannot be produced by human body.
Yeah. Dr. Henneberg, one of the things that's never discussed when we talk about when we talk about amino acids, everybody talks about muscle protein synthesis, and they talk about some of the roles of amino acids contribution to organ systems. But one of the things nobody ever talks about when they talk about amino acids is now I'm going to forget it. Not the supracosmetic nuclei, but the isn't this? I just had a blank. There's the component in the cell that actually folds proteins to be messages between cells is called the endoplasmic reticulum. Thank you. So what people don't talk about. So when people talk about vegan diets and they say, oh, well, I'm getting all the amino acids I need from soy. What they fail to realize is one of the greatest roles that amino acids play is the vocabulary and syntax for cellular communication that is produced by the endoplasmic reticulum of every single cell. If you are starving yourself of specific amino acids because of a very strict diet, you are literally taking words out of the vocabulary that cells can use to communicate. Why don't scientists make that more clear, that the role of amino acids may not just be muscle protein synthesis, it may be complete breakdown of the body and disease states because cells can't communicate?
Well, you're right. Body is a very dynamic system, and saying that amino acids are just building blocks of proteins in the body is not explaining the entire role, because as we all know, proteins are also very active as enzymes, and they are in the endoplasmic reticulum, so you're absolutely right. Amino acids are part of the dynamic, thermodynamically open system that our body is, and it's changing every minute or every second as the energy flows through cells.
More than 240 million Americans take supplements daily in pill form, but poor nutrient absorption means the promised results are rarely achieved. Healthy Cell uses a clinically proven patent-pending gel delivery system that increases absorption by 165% over pill form. Go to shrnetwork.biz/healthycell. That's HEALTHYCELL today and use the code SHR to save 20% off your purchase of Healthy Cell supplements.
New Mass Pro Synthagen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthagen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthagen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthagen.com. Mass Pro Synthagen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
I would easily say that I am the hugest proponent you will ever meet to doing anything that will improve the quality of my sleep. And that's because sleep is linked to just about every metabolic disorder we see in our population today. One of the easiest things you can do to improve the quality of your sleep is to get a pillow that can be shaped into the exact form factor that allows you to get your best night's sleep. And that is MyPillow. I've been sleeping with MyPillow for a few years now, and I can tell you that when I have to travel and stay in hotels, I don't get a good night's sleep because I don't have MyPillow with me. Right now, you can save up to 60% off of everything offered to improve the quality of your sleep at shrnetwork.biz/mypillow when you use the code SHR. Or you can call toll-free 800-889-4938. And remember to use code SHR to save up to 60% off of everything at their website. Being superhuman means being conscientious about the choices we make. White Oak Pastures is superhuman when it comes to raising livestock. They're committed to animal welfare, land regeneration, and rural revival. They responsibly manage the entire process from the pasture to your doorstep. High quality, pasture raised, great tasting meat from a farm you can trust. Full nose to tail selections. They even have options for your pet. Go to shrnetwork.biz/whiteoak and use the code superhuman to save 10% off your entire first order. If you'd like a shortcut to better sleep, more energy, and calmer, more stable moods, then you should make sure you're supplementing with magnesium daily. Let me tell you why. About 75% of people are magnesium deficient. This deficiency can lead to higher levels of anxiety, irritability, trouble sleeping, and low energy. It can even contribute to foot and leg cramps while you sleep. Magnesium Breakthrough by BioProt is the single best magnesium supplement in the world. Simply take 2 capsules before you go to bed, and you'll be amazed by the improvements in your mood and energy levels, and how much more rested you feel when you wake up. I take Magnesium Breakthrough every night, and I sleep better because I use it. Go to magbreakthrough.com/SHR and use the code SHR10 during checkout to save 10% off and get free shipping helping. Check it out. Plant medicine has become all the rage for mental optimization. Now there's an ancient plant medicine rapidly growing in popularity that experts believe might just be the alcohol of the future. It's called True Kava. Kava is a natural food-grade elixir that has been used for over 3,000 years by South Pacific Islanders as safe, non-addictive alternative to drugs and alcohol. By naturally boosting the brain's main feel-good chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, Kava provides you with both increased relaxation and mental clarity at the same time. True Kava is a new form of stabilized full-spectrum traditional kava that is third-party lab tested for quality and safety. Go to shrnetwork.biz/true kava, and that's TRUKAVA, all one word, and use code SHR for 25% off today.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where we use oxygen for the power of good.
Welcome back. Now, Dr. Henneberg, I want to give you your opportunity to tell people, both clinicians and lay people, what you hope they take away from this research. Is it that meat is evil? No. What is it?
No. It's the composition of our daily diet. So it is adding meat on top of staple foods, which are considered to be usually carbohydrates. This is how diet in mainstream society evolved since the introduction of agriculture. We eat a lot of carbohydrate that is practically present in every meal, and the meat is this added thing on top. So in other words, it's the added flavor of the meal rather than being the staple food. Although we call, if you look at names of dishes served in restaurants, if they contain any animal protein, their names come from animal protein. You don't see on the menu French fries and steak. You see steak and French fries. You don't see on the menu mashed potato and fish. You see fish and mashed potatoes.
Right.
So we worship meat as the most important part of various dishes, whereas we actually eat a lot of carbohydrates and obviously add some fat. So the message is limit meat consumption to much smaller quantities, and obviously overall, if you can cut the total caloric content of your diet, it will be also helpful to keep body weight down.
Real quick before we end this interview, Dr. Henneberg, you said that you tried to do eating one thing at a time for a while for weight loss. What happened when you did that? When you just ate meat only at this meal or potatoes only at that meal? What happened?
I lost 3 kilos in 1 month, so about 7 pounds.
And you were eating all the same foods, you were just not eating them and combining them at the same meal?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You know what? I have been thinking about this for years. I've been asking this question for years. I got to tell you, the one thing that I got out of this interview that is so vindicating is that part of the discussion, that the food combining in and of itself, we need to look at it more closely. Listen, I know it's in the middle of the night. I want to thank you both for coming on the show and talking about this. It's a very, very interesting discussion. Very interesting.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.